Right now, somewhere on Earth, a grown adult is crying. Not because something bad happened to them, not because they're hurt, because 11 strangers wearing the same color shirt just kicked a ball into a net. And here's the thing, that person isn't alone. 4 billion people are watching the same tournament. 4 billion. That's more than half the humans alive on Earth. No movie, no election, no religion has ever united that many people around a single moment at the same time. So what is actually happening inside us when the World Cup starts? Because it isn't about soccer. It never was. Let's start with something that seems completely unrelated. In 1954, a psychologist named Henry Tajfel ran a series of experiments that would become some of the most replicated findings in all of social science. He took strangers, divided them into two groups completely at random, and gave each group a meaningless label. Within minutes, people were actively favoring their own group and working against the other. Not because of history, not because of rivalry, not because of anything real, because of a label. Tajfel called this social identity theory. The conclusion was stark. Humans don't need a reason to form a tribe. They just need a boundary. Give someone a color, a name, a flag. That's enough. The tribalism activates automatically. And it has been activating automatically for 300,000 years. Here's what this means for the World Cup. When you watch your country play, you are not watching a sporting event. Your brain is running ancient survival software that has no idea it's 2026. It thinks your tribe is in conflict with another tribe. It thinks the outcome of this conflict determines whether your group eats, whether your group survives, whether your children have a future. The physiological response is identical. In a 2010 study published in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology, researchers measured cortisol and testosterone levels in fans watching World Cup matches. When their team scored, testosterone spiked. When their team conceded, cortisol spiked. The stress hormone that floods your body during genuine physical danger. Your body does not know the difference between your striker missing a penalty and a predator entering your camp. It responds the same way. Because for most of human history, group conflict and individual survival were the same thing. But here's what makes the World Cup different from every other sporting event on Earth. Every other league runs all year. Your team plays every week. You become desensitized. The emotional stakes are diluted across hundreds of matches. The World Cup happens once every 4 years. 4 years. That's long enough for an entire childhood to pass. Long enough for a generation of players to emerge in age and retire. Long enough for the anticipation to build past the point where rational thought can contain it. Sports psychologist Daniel Wan has studied fan attachment for 3 decades. His research shows that the longer the gap between opportunities to compete, the more psychologically significant each competition becomes. 4 years is not just a wait. It is a pressure cooker. By the time the tournament begins, the emotional energy has nowhere to go but out. Now let's reconstruct what actually happens inside you on match day. You wake up and you already feel it. A low hum of something you can't name. You check the time. You calculate how many hours until kickoff. You find yourself thinking about the match in the shower, at breakfast, in the middle of conversations about completely unrelated things. This is your brain preparing for group conflict, the same way it has prepared for 300,000 years. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar, famous for his research on human social bonding, found that collective anticipation, The shared experience of waiting for something significant is one of the most powerful social bonding mechanisms our species has. You are bonding with 4 billion people through the act of waiting together. Then the match begins, and something happens that has no equivalent in modern life. You are synchronized with strangers. Your heart rate matches theirs. Your breath catches at the same moment. When the ball hits the post, everyone in a stadium of 80,000 people gasps simultaneously. Neurologist and sports scientist Emma Cohen at Oxford University studied the synchronization effect and found something remarkable. Shared physical experiences, even passive ones like watching, trigger what she calls self-other merging. The boundary between your individual identity and the group identity temporarily dissolves. You stop being a person watching a game. You become part of something larger than yourself. And modern humans who spend most of their lives in profound isolation behind screens and closed doors are desperately starved of this feeling. Because here's what we've lost. For 290,000 years, humans lived in groups of 15 to 50 people. You were physically synchronized with those people every single day. You moved together, ate together, slept within feet of each other. Your nervous system was calibrated to function as part of a collective. Then agriculture happened. Then cities, then apartments and office cubicles, and streaming services, and the slow elimination of every space where humans were genuinely together. Today, the average person in a developed country reports fewer than two close friends. Loneliness is now classified as a public health epidemic, and once every 4 years, 4 billion people turn on their televisions and feel what their ancestors felt every single day without trying. Connected, part of something, not alone. This is what the World Cup actually sells, not soccer, belonging. And nothing amplifies belonging like a shared enemy, not a real enemy, a symbolic one. The other team, the other flag, the other anthem. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt has spent years studying the moral psychology of groups, and his conclusion is direct. Humans are not fully human alone. We are designed to function within a we. We require an us, which means we require a them. The World Cup provides both with a clarity and a safety that real conflict cannot. The other team is not trying to destroy you. They will go home after 90 minutes. The rivalry is real enough to activate every ancient tribalism circuit in your brain and safe enough that nobody actually dies. It is the most sophisticated emotional technology our civilization has ever produced, and we invented it by accident. There is one more thing, one element of the World Cup that separates it from everything else: possibility. In every other domain of life, outcomes are largely predictable. The rich stay rich. The powerful stay powerful. The favorites win. But in soccer, the smallest nation can beat the largest. Cameroon eliminated Argentina in 1990. South Korea reached the semifinals in 2002. Iceland held Argentina to a draw in 2018. The gap between the best team on earth and a country of 300,000 people is smaller in soccer than in any other sport, and your brain knows it. The possibility that anything could happen, that this could be the moment, that this could be the year, is chemically indistinguishable from hope. And hope is the most powerful motivator the human brain produces. So here you are, watching 11 strangers in your country's colors run across a field. Your cortisol is spiking. Your testosterone is surging. Your self has temporarily merged with 4 billion other selves. You're feeling something your ancestors felt around fires and in hunts, and in the moments that actually determine survival. And you are feeling it safely, cleanly, without any of the actual cost. The World Cup doesn't give you something new. It gives you back something ancient, something your nervous system has been quietly looking for since the last time you felt it. 4 years ago, in a moment exactly like this one, when 11 strangers scored a goal and somewhere on earth a grown adult started to cry and knew, without understanding why, that they were not crying alone.